We've found others like it in the crossroads. Where'd you find yours?
I found it right around the time Solus's ritual failed, when he was pulled into the Fade. We've examined the magic, and it's tied to the Veil. To him, somehow.
Solus is ancient, and his magic is part of him in a way far beyond that of mortals. I suggest you take it to the crossroads and see if something in the lighthouse calls to it. Perhaps it will yield some insight into your new ally.
Solus is trapped in the Fade. He's not my biggest concern at the moment.
Solus is trapped in your dreams, and while he cannot match Elganon or Gillenane in strength, he is far more cunning. He is the Dreadwolf. He led a rebellion that lasted centuries. How many times do you think the gods thought him trapped and helpless?
Morrigan is right. Solus is dangerous. Anything that gives us some insight into his plans. He fooled us all before. And the whole world very nearly paid the price for it.
We should go, Inquisitor. The armies in the south need you.
Right. Harding, stay sharp. You're my eyes in the north.
Always, Inquisitor.
Rook, good luck. If I come across anything else that can help you, you'll be the first to know.
Thank you.
And now, this city. I heard something from
I command you! Coming in range!
Dodge. No sweat.
So, Tosh, you're the dragon hunter of this outfit.
Yep. You do monsters.
Seems our work's going to overlap.
No, it's not. I handle dragons. You kill monsters. And Darkspawn.
Dragons are monsters.
What? No, dragons are natural. Been around longer than we have. Darkspawn and monsters are just Vashidon that came later.
Fair enough. but I'll handle any archdemons we meet.
Fine. But I get to help. Hey. We need to talk about Hassan.
What'd he do now?
It's what you did. You're not feeding him right.
What are you talking about? That griffin eats better than I do. He had steak last night.
Yes. You're giving him too much meat. He needs more fiber.
And what makes you an expert on griffin dietary needs?
His poop smells wrong.
Never mind. Forget I asked.
Places between.
The voices again.
Untold years asleep, only to see our sanctums defiled. Even Arlathan is trampled by cast-offs and mortals. We must secure the Alluvians.
We shall. The Ontom are uneasy in the crossroads, but they know their duty.
If they fail, give the best preserve to me for improvement.
Dead on top. We're already on it.
Usually have to dodge traps and fight spiders to see this much old elven stuff. Talk to Isabella if you want to sell any of it. She'll get you a good deal.
Spoken like a veteran treasure hunter.
Yep. For gold and glory. The lords make runs no one else can. Isabella's undies would catch fire if she saw all this.
So why do the Lords of Fortune care enough about dragons to have a dedicated dragon hunter?
Lots of great old crap ends up in dragon hordes.
Why do dragons care about gathering treasure? It's not like they go to the market.
Dragons like metals and gems. Anything glittery catches their eye.
So they're like really large magpies?
Kinda. And they live for centuries. Lots of time to gather a bunch of shiny crap. Plus all the gear carried by idiots who thought they could kill a dragon.
Bet you deal with a lot of nasty traps during those treasure hunts.
Yep.
What's the most complicated one you've dealt with?
Old elven armory. Had letters on tiles. Probably supposed to spell out the name of a god or something.
Probably.
I don't read elven. Found handholds in the ceiling and swung across.
That sounds more like a puzzle than a trap.
Ugh. Puzzles.
But puzzles give you a chance to test your wits. To prove you're smart enough to beat whoever designed it.
Ugh.
I ran into one while traveling with Varric. It had these 3 poles with sets of different size rings on 2 of the poles.
And you had to move the rings over to the 3rd pole? And the rings had to be sized right and crap?
Yes. You've seen it.
That thing is Vashadan.
Feel free to use the ancient elven artifacts for weight training, but nothing leaves with you, okay?
Don't worry about that. The Lords of Fortune aren't thieves.
I mean, aren't you, though?
Nah. Anything we hunt is salvage. Old forgotten ruins and crap. And we make sure we're not screwing over a culture that lost it. That's what my mother does with the Kunari stuff.
So, your mother appraises Kunari artifacts the Lords of Fortune find?
Yeah. She tells them how rare something is. How much it might be worth. Also tells them if they found something cultural.
Cultural?
You know, important. Stuff you don't want going to some rich noble's collection. The Lords send that stuff back to the Kunari in Parvalin. They pay the Lords a finder's fee.
Just a finder's fee?
Yep.
But the Lords at the top could be charging anything for these artifacts and you wouldn't know.
I know what happened to the last Lord who blooded contact. That's enough. The Lords are good people. They helped my mother when she came here from Kantar. She got here with nothing but me and the clothes on her back. The only skill she had was Kunari history. The Lords gave her work.
We should do this again. Grab a drink. Share our tallest tales.
Okay, I was gonna go back to Ravane later. Got a thing to do for my mother. You can come along, if you want.
Do I need to be ready for combat? Or traps?
Nah.
Alright. Just let me know when.
You cannot do this, Alganan. You swore that we would give up our commands when this horrific war was over.
Our people need our leadership. If you're unwilling, leave.
Our people must rebuild, and we must help unite them.
So, we did not fight for freedom, but to conquer this land and our own.
We fought to win, and now the Evanuris are as gods. I do not answer to Mythal's annoying lapdog.
The people are afraid. They must believe in something.
They need strength.
And wisdom.
They need gods who can protect them.
We are not gods. You will learn that.
Every lapdog hides a wolf inside.
That was strange. They were speaking Elven, but I understood it.
I believe we have experienced a memory in each of our native languages.
Not just any memory. One of the Dreadwolves.
And the mages who declared themselves my gods? Well, mine and Davrin's, and Rook's.
It's not every day you witness the start of a religion. I wonder if they're all this disappointing.
I wish they were monsters. Something grand and terrible. Seeing them like that, they're no better than Tevinter nobles.
But no worse, either. They were people. And people can let you down.
All right. What else can we take from this memory?
Elgranon was hungry for power. Did anything he could to get it, and to hold on to it.
Then Solus, furious at Elganon's installing himself as a despot, started his rebellion.
There's another moving part in this. Mythal. She was keeping the peace.
Mythal and Solus were close. The Inquisition found a temple to Mythal, and there were wolf statues everywhere.
Then she sides with Elgranon over him. A betrayal.
It sounded like Solus was loyal to Mythal. What did Elganon call him? Mythal's lapdog? And then she grabs power alongside Elganon instead of standing for her principles. I'd be angry too.
Angry enough to start a rebellion?
That's not how he'd see it. He didn't destroy the world. Elganon did. Solus did what he considered necessary to stop him.
Solus would try to justify what he did, but he'd also blame himself for what happened.
Perhaps these murals aren't simply memories. They're what Solus wishes to forget.
His regrets. That means they're a way to learn his weak points.
Why are we worried about Solus? He's trapped.
Right. But the Dreadwolf was the god of trickery. He's looking for a way out. Bet on it.
Meanwhile, keep your eyes open in the crossroads. If there's a way to restore the rest of these murals, Solus would have kept it in his hideaway. It'd be nice to get inside his head for a change.
Rook, interested in visiting the Memorial Gardens?
What are you up to?
I must tend to some rites in the necropolis. I'd like to show you its more peaceful side.
Hey, you heard of the Hall of Valor? It's a fighting arena with the Lords.
Interesting.
Just tell me when you're ready.
Need and knowledge.
I cannot say.
Who created you?
I cannot say.
What can you say?
I cannot say.
Right. Deserve that.
Got the archive spirit working, I see.
Rook, you're here. And I did. Sort of. A little bit. It appears, but it won't tell me anything.
You simply ask the wrong questions. A common affliction of the weak-minded.
Also that. It's kind of mean.
Just insult it right back. Assuming you know how to insult a spirit.
I've never thought about it. How would you do that? Emmerich might know. That is an idea. Syrian learned a lot, taught me a lot about these archives. They have, well, not thoughts like us, but sort of pathways, I guess. They can only respond to specific questions worded in specific ways. So, if you're powerful, like almost God-level powerful, how would you talk to someone you see as lesser?
Really condescendingly, based on experience so far?
Right! You wouldn't ask questions, you'd tell them what to do, so let's try that. Archive, tell me who built you.
One of the greatest of Elvenan, a steward of her glory. Truly, I was blessed to bathe in his warmth. Anaris built me, and to him I shall someday return.
You mean the Forgotten One?
I cannot say.
Good point. That was us.
Anaris. I know I've heard that name before.
Yeah, a Forgotten One. Remember the nursery rhymes? Don't speak their names or they'll come for you. Unlike our so-called good gods, which, well, we saw what happened there. So who knows what they really were? The Forgotten Ones. They used to say Solus was one, so best case scenario, like him. Worst case, well, you heard it talk.
Right. So this thing's dangerous if it belonged to one of them.
Could be, but still important and invaluable. Everything Anaris knew, this thing knows, and my people deserve to know. If I can get it to tell me.
Archive, tell me about the Dreadwolf.
An ideologue and a fool who will soon pay the price. When Anaris dispatches the Evanuris, he will spare a thought for Fen'Harel.
Archive, tell me about the Evanuris.
A group of cowards, hiding behind their more powerful magic and superior numbers. Their jealousy of Anaris was palpable. Their war is unending. But Anaris will prevail.
We've got a chance to learn more about our people. Go for it. Just be careful. And try not to break anything.
Right. Thanks, Rook.
All thanks must be given to Anaris, for he will cast down the oppressive Evanuris and take his rightful place.
What a shame I can't stay longer. Good luck.
Appreciate the support.
Nev, settling back in?
More or less. Lots to catch up on, but when isn't there? I'm ready to get back to work. If we could skip the personal catch-up. Not the day for it.
Take all the time you need. It looks like our boy Hassan is feeling his oats. Or whatever griffins feel.
He's getting the hang of it. When he listens.
He seems to be able to handle himself so far.
You got lucky the Gloomhowler didn't tear you to pieces, boy. You wait for my command. We attack together. Then we can kill stuff like that.
At least he's learning.
The instincts kick in. Griffins see darkspawn and it's a fight to the death. Like wolves hunting deer. Just need to corral it.
Never be a deer. Good to know.
He'd probably leave them alone.
Probably.
You and I see a deer. Maybe he sees venison souffle. Every muscle in him, every talon, every feather, honed into a killing machine. Hassan's ancestors took on archdemons.
Like his name says, he's an arrow.
Half lion, half eagle, with the instincts of both, griffins will always be hunters.
Just like his daddy, Davrin.
I suppose we are our nature.
Not sure about that.
Most of my life I've hunted the darker things in the world. But caring for a griffin? What do I know about that? Yet here I am.
That's not so bad, is it?
Not the path I expected. Makes me wonder about Hassan, his brothers and sisters, still young, pure.
You're worried?
I'm responsible for the future of every griffin alive. I want it to be a good one. These animals live to fight, but I wonder if there's another path for them.
I don't know. That's like asking a fish to crawl on land. It might work at first, but it's not going to end well.
Fair point. Griffins are darkspawn hunters at heart.
This one sure takes after his dad.
Parents. A scary word. I'm supposed to be his bodyguard.
What do you think you've been doing this whole time?
Trying to ignore it. If I get myself killed by a Hurlock, that's on me. If it's Hassan, I just don't want to mess it up.
I think that's where trust comes in. That Turlum idea you keep talking about. Trust Hassan to find his way. Don't force things.
He's headstrong.
Good thing you are too.
Right. Thanks for the chat.
I was not certain you would come.
You were the one who walked away. I never turn my back when my friend needs me.
The Evenuris seek the magic of the Blight.
Impossible. The Blight is safely sealed away forever.
Though I wish I could believe you. I have sensed the breaking of the wards.
I will investigate your claims. If they forget the danger of the Blight, I will endeavor to remind them.
What if, instead, you left the Evenuris and remained with me? Do you not wish for freedom from this struggle?
Be at peace, love. I will stop them.
As you must. The Blight is our mistake.
Did Mythal call Solus love in that memory?
That's what it sounded like.
So they were doing it.
The elven gods were free with their emotions. They felt things deeply. The way they expressed things, well, it feels romantic to us, but that wasn't really how it was. Back then, I mean.
Nah, they were doing it.
Oh, they were absolutely doing it.
Being with someone you're rebelling against? Doesn't sound like Solus.
He also met her in secret and talked about how they could run off together.
It sounded so tragic and romantic.
Oh, wait. Never mind. That does sound like him.
So the Dreadwolf goes to Mythal. They might be fighting, but they have history.
And he warns her about the other god using the Blight. That's more important than his rebellion. It's like kingdoms coming together when an archdemon rises.
Mythal didn't think it was possible. She said the Blight was sealed away. There's an old legend about it. Davrin, the one with Andrul's armor. Not sure it matters.
I've heard that story too, the Armor of the Void, right?
Yes, Andrul, the goddess of the hunt, put on armor made of something called the Void, and it drove her mad.
And the other gods were worried because she was doing horrible things.
Sounds like an elven god twisted by the corruption of the Blight.
Right, and then Mythal turned into a dragon and fought Andrul in a huge battle.
She what? Why didn't you start with that?
Anyway, she took Andrul's armor away, then Andrul's madness left, and peace returned.
Intriguing. So it's possible Andrul stumbled onto the magic of the Blight.
And when Andrul went mad, Mythal took it from her and locked it away.
Until someone started using it again.
Okay, Solus warns Mythal about the other gods using the Blight. It's not just bad, it's something bad he feels responsible for. The Blight was our mistake.
How is the Blight their mistake? Did they find it? Did they make it? What does that mean?
Whatever it was, it convinced Mythal to take him seriously.
So Mythal goes off to investigate what Solus says. Then, what? It's too clean.
Seems plenty messy with them doing it.
But this isn't just a memory. It's something Solus wanted to hide. What's the crime? What did we see here that he feels guilty about?
I think I might know. When the Inquisitor was saving the world from the breach, he met Mythal.
What? Like in a dream?
It was complicated. She helped the Inquisition. There was a magic pond and a dragon.
Nice!
The point is, she also said the other elven gods betrayed her, killed her.
Okay, sorry, point of order. If they killed Mythal, how was she still around to help the Inquisition?
Elven god magic? She'd spent centuries gathering strength and sharing people's bodies, I think.
If it was a truly benign possession, that speaks to her character.
So there's the shame Solus wanted to erase. He blames himself for Mythal's murder.
Well, it's not just that she died.
What do you mean, Tosh?
It's... Ugh. There was stuff he wanted to tell her, but he waited too long, and then she was dead. He never got to make it right. That twists you up.
That's it. There's our crime.
Doesn't really tell us anything we can use, though.
We know more than we did. That's something.
Then I guess we keep our eyes open if we come across more of these memories.
dare to try to cage us, jealous of our growing power.
You will pay the final price for this betrayal.
We warned you not to use the Blight. For this, and for Mythal, I sentence you to sleep in exile ever after. Your own lives will form the veil that keeps the horror you unleashed at bay.
So he locked the gods away and created a veil between this world and the Fade. I mean, they were terrible, no question. But what he did, it didn't just stop them. It destroyed our culture, our world.
It wasn't just to stop them. It was to stop the Blight. We've seen how bad Elganon and Gillenane are. Imagine all 7 corrupted gods running wild.
So he created the Veil just to keep the elven gods locked in their prison?
Yes, to keep them from accessing the Fade. But was the creation of the Veil around the world an accident?
You heard him yelling. That's not the sound of a ritual going right.
What do you think, Rook?
Honestly, looking at this memory, I think I'm with Solus here.
Even as he destroyed our people's world, locked away who we were?
Our gods were using the Blight. I think the Elven Empire was burning down one way or another. And it's clear he wishes he'd done it differently. That's why he's ashamed of this memory.
I had another question, and I'm sorry, maybe this doesn't matter, but Solus trapped the blighted gods in an ancient elven building, right?
That's what it looks like. Maybe a palace? Fancier than what I've seen in Arlethan, at least.
And then, the Magisters were lured into the Fade. They broke in, which let the Blight escape, and turned the Golden City black.
Right, and the Black City hangs in the Fade, a little reminder of their mistakes. What's wrong, Lace?
It's just... the Chant of Light says that the Maker built for them the Golden City, the center of all creation. But if the Golden City was an ancient elven palace, then the Maker didn't build it. The elves did. The Chant of Light is Andraste's visions from the Maker, but it sounds like it's wrong.
You're asking if we just disproved the entire Andrastian faith.
Did we?
The Maker was never my faith, Lace, but I don't think you have to give it up.
But what they taught us was just wrong. What if the Maker just doesn't exist?
The Chant of Light might be wrong, but it's been made and changed by people over 1,000 years.
There was a whole verse about an elf named Shartan, and the Chantry just cut it out.
So maybe the Golden City was meant as a metaphor. Or maybe it was added because of politics. That might change the history, but it doesn't have to change your whole faith.
The Dalish clans are struggling with the same thing. What do we keep? What do we lose?
The Elven Gods, the Maker. No matter who you light a candle to, you've got some hard questions to ask yourself right now.
Doctrine is not the truth. It is one of many paths to the truth.
I recognize the sentiment, though not the specific quote. Who said that?
My mother.
Ah. Questions of faith aside, we have some very real gods that still need killing.
Looks like there are 3 more of these murals with the Dreadwolf's old memories. Wonder what else he's hiding.
You have so long observed the world. Why not consider joining it?
But I have no desire to live as humans. I have the Fade. Besides, this talk of taking on a solid form. I think you underestimate the danger. When you took the glowing stone to build your body, did the earth not shake?
Delirium gives us the strength we had when we were of the Fade. We are the best of physical and spirit. I need your wisdom, Solus. To withstand the louder voices who would go too far like Elganon. I need you.
This is madness. You must know that. I will always follow where you go.
What?
This is astounding. The ancient elves were spirits who voluntarily manifested a physical form.
I'd rather go back to talking about the Blight.
Hey, Lucanus. Could Spite turn into an elf?
No.
Sorry, but... what?
This is... Are all elves spirits somehow? Am I a spirit?
To be clear, this memory only shows that the first elves originated from spirits. You 3 are no more spirits than anyone else conceived naturally.
Conceived naturally? Guess I'll go ask my mother.
The knowledge that an entire people were formed from a mass manifestation could change our entire understanding of magic.
If we let it out, is that the right call? Do you want bigoted humans yelling about how elves are demons?
Davrin's got a point. World's not short on small-minded humans.
If the world learned about this, and it led to attacks against elves...
Elves have enough trouble as it is down in Ferelden.
We have to tell someone, though. Strife and Irulan, at least.
If I told Thea and Viago, they'd think I was sampling Viago's poison collection. No one would believe us.
Okay. We keep this to people we trust who have good reason to know. No shouting it from the rooftops.
Agreed. The Morn Watch has a great deal of experience keeping dangerous secrets.
So, beyond the world-shaking stuff, what else did we learn here? Solus himself was a spirit.
What kind do you think he was?
Well, his name is Elven for pride.
Oh, okay.
There's something else. Not about spirits, or not all about them at least. Solus didn't want to become a person with a physical body.
Right. He only agreed after Mythal begged him.
Then that's his regret. He wishes he'd never taken physical form.
Maybe, but not just that. Solus was scared. They built their bodies out of lyrium, and it made the ground shake.
You think the ground shaking was the Titans?
It makes sense, doesn't it? Something was hurting them, taking their blood.
So they struck back, like we'd swat a stinging bug.
The first memory we saw with Elganon seizing power, it happened at the end of a war.
A war between the Titans and the elves.
And we just saw how it started.
It feels like we still don't have the full picture. But I think that's part of what Solus regrets. He didn't see the danger.
Except he did. He was worried, you said it yourself.
He did it for Mythal. Everything that followed, he could have prevented if he just told her no.
Then he's got a war on his conscience. Plus, whatever we find next.
Have you created what we need?
With this, the proper ritual will sunder every Titan from its spirit. But you must know those severed dreams will certainly be driven mad. A disembodied blight of pain and anger. It is awful what we're doing.
And the only way to end this war.
Solus made the weapon that killed the Titans. No, not killed. He cut away their dreams and left them broken and mindless. He passed me in the halls of Skyhold for a year. He made polite conversation, and he knew. He knew what he did.
I don't know what to say, Lace. I can't even imagine. I'm so sorry.
I served in the Inquisition. I know terrible things happen in war. But to do something like this...
The Titans were the size of mountains. I doubt the elves were winning their fight. He considered this the cost of saving his people.
Fear and guilt make people do stupid things.
To do such a thing. No wonder regret eats away at Solus.
No, it's worse than that. That isn't what Solus regrets. Those severed dreams will be driven mad. A disembodied blight of pain and anger.
Mierda.
You can't. That's not possible.
When a warden hears the calling, it's like a song in their mind. Sound familiar to you, Lace?
The song of Lyrium. Of the Titans.
We think of the Blight as this monstrous force with no mercy, no compassion, evil incarnate. Instead, it's a caged animal, mistreated and imprisoned for centuries, until all it knows is fear.
If the Blight is the Titan's dreams, can we, I don't know, heal it? Bring it back from all that anger?
I'm afraid I have no idea. In theory, it would be possible to restore dreams to the Titans.
You can't set it free before it's healed. You'd have blighted Titans laying waste to the entire world.
The Titans are a problem for later. We have Elgernon and Ghilanane to deal with now.
And then I want Solus to look me in the eye and answer for what he did.
Each of these memories has been a deeper regret, and almost all of them involve Mythal.
Only one mural left to uncover by my count. If we find it, we'll see what's worse than this.
I knew that you would find me soon enough. You need the power of a god. The strength that I alone still carry.
The blighted Evanuris will soon break free from their prison. I must make a stronger one that can contain them.
While the prison is important, it is not the only goal you seek.
Why should I not tear down the veil and bring back immortality to all the Elven people? They deserve it.
The Elven people of today do not deserve to see the world they love be torn apart to salve your conscience.
I must fix what I have broken. I am sorry.
As am I, old friend.
Solus killed Mythal? After all that? Is this another memory from a different time?
No. He wore that same outfit in the Inquisition. We knew Solus woke up in this world without most of his power. Now we know how he got it back.
By killing the only other god around and stealing her power.
All that epic magic and godly power. In the end, it comes down to love and murder. Same as always.
So we've got all the Dreadwolf's deep dark secrets. Anything we can use?
He's being honest about fighting the Blight. Whatever happens, he won't risk letting it back out into the world.
Agreed. But he has a plan to escape that prison, and not one we'll like.
He turned on Mythal, the one person he was actually loyal to. There's no way he won't turn on us.
He's a spirit, or was once. He might be able to possess someone, affect minds, all the things spirits do.
He created the Veil. His very nature is tied to it. That will be a source of strength, but also a potential weakness.
Mythal has him all messed up. Anything about her or Elgernon is gonna make him angry. Sloppy.
Solus thinks he knows what's best for everyone. Anything he does, he'll do while telling himself he's the hero.
The bad news is that the god of lies and trickery is almost definitely preparing to betray us. The good news is that we've gone through his dirty laundry.
So, we know his motivations. You think we can set a trap of our own?
That's the hope.
You have witnessed the Protector's tale, Dweller, almost to its end.
Almost? How can there be more?
When the mighty fall, their echoes cross the ages. An audience is warranted. Speak with your visitor. She awaits you in the crossroads.
Well met, Rook.
How did you get here?
I did tell you I had my ways through Illuvians when I introduced you to the Inquisitor, did I not?
The Illuvians in general, yes, but not the Dreadwolf's crossroads.
I would think you have more pressing questions at the moment. Questions about Solus and Mythal?
Mythal?
The two gods have always been linked, have they not? First, when Mythal bade her companion spirit to abandon the Fade and take on mortal form. Then, when Solus spilled Mythal's mortal blood, that he might absorb her power as his own.
Wait. How do you know exactly what we saw of Solus's past?
Think upon it, Rook. You saw for yourself in the Dreadwolf's memories. When Mythal stood against the gods' manipulations of the Blight, she was betrayed and struck down. Yet she survived and returned ages later to aid the Inquisition in its hour of need. How?
The elven gods had access to magic beyond anything we can imagine?
To be sure, but it matters less what they possessed than what they were. You recall that the first elves were spirits, do you not? Mythal was a spirit turned elven, and when her body was struck down, to spirit she returned, her essence sheltered in a willing mortal vessel. Over the centuries she journeyed from host to host, slowly amassing her former power anew, until once again she was struck down, on this occasion by Solus. He absorbed her power, but not her memories.
Then where did they... Wait. You?
As you say.
Mythal. Mythad Virhim Elvenlas Alathan.
Mana Lama. Altel Vara Mythad.
Well, I should honor you a little, I think. If you're really Mythal. What? That was like how Elganon and Gillenane can talk in your head, but...
'Twas Mythal you heard, her echoes. Yet I am not the goddess returned.
What are you, then?
I once feared Mythal would consume me were I to carry her, but 'twas not so. I remained free-willed and mortal. What I now possess is but a spark of Mythal, shadowed memories through which to sift for meaning. As to our admixture, I suspect you have questions.
You would have met Solus in the Inquisition, right?
I did indeed. 'Twas before I possessed Mythal's memories. At the time, I thought Solus a scowling elven apostate whose sole passion was finding arguments. He heard me, in all my ignorance, expound on the histories of the elven people, explaining legends he had witnessed himself.
Bet he loved that.
'Tis not a memory that brings me pride.
How can you carry Mythal's soul if you're not an elf?
Her spark has sheltered within both elves and humans who were sympathetic to her in thought and circumstance. Mythal's last host was a woman wronged, trapped by those sworn to love her. We may readily imagine their kinship.
I guess someone as powerful as Mythal could bond with whoever she wanted.
Perhaps her death at the hands of the other elven gods forced her further from your people.
Do you have information we can use against Gillenane or Elganon? Or Solus?
The last time Mythal faced Elganon and Gillenane, she was struck down by the very dagger you now carry.
What about Solus?
You may recall he murdered Mythal's former host to claim her godly might as his own. I hoard no untapped magical secrets, Rook. What I do possess, I share freely with you and the Veil Jumpers.
All right. So, there's the soul of an elven god inside you. How does that even happen?
Mythal's last host was my mother, Flemeth.
Oh.
When I learned she intended me to become the next receptacle of an ancient god's soul, I feared naught would be left of my own. It inevitably came to pass on a deep night. I was awakened by the presence of a blaze of magic in the shape of a woman who both was and was not my mother.
I don't think I'd recover from that.
Neither did I, at the start. Mythal's memories were both gift and burden, this blazing woman told me, but I must accept them of my own accord. The decision was paralyzing. What would it mean to become such a host? What would be lost if I refused? In the end, 'twas something in my mother's voice which guided me.
What was that?
Regret. Not the regret of a god, but of a mother who knew she would never see me again. And so, my mind remains my own. What I gained was knowledge, both Mythal's and of those who bore her.
You didn't come out here just to tell me you're Mythal.
I am not Mythal in her entirety, but yes, the Dreadwolf has occasion to visit you in dreams, where he portions out advice. And now, after finding his memories, you have peered into his deepest sorrows. Tell me then, what do you make of Solus?
Solus talks a lot about what has to be done, being forced to make hard choices. But it's like he's trying to talk himself into it. I think, deep down, he doesn't entirely believe what he's saying.
'Tis exactly like the old wolf to tie himself into the most intricate knots. 'Tis not malice which made Solus your opponent, but conviction, a belief that only he may halt what he set in motion. Yet Solus was once beloved of Mythal. 'Tis his very loyalty and love for his people that led to the tragedy we now face. You may be in a position to determine how it ends, more so than either of you might realize.
Maybe there's a way we all get what we want.
Do you truly believe such a thing?
Well, maybe at least what we deserve.
If you would shape the outcome of your battle, I've one last secret to share. When Mythal was struck down by the other gods, it was with her own lyrium dagger, the dagger you now carry. Solus recovered it from Elganon, and from it extracted a fragment of Mythal that had lain hidden within its depths. This fragment, a younger sister to the one I carry, if you will, resides here, in the crossroads. I can open the way for you. Find her, survive the encounter, and the essence you obtain will aid you in times to come.
You make it sound like this piece of Mythal is going to attack me.
You know Solus, and have seen Elganon, and memories of Mythal. They are creatures of emotion, as all spirits are. The fragment of Mythal that resides in me lived among mortals for thousands of years. She has grown wiser and more patient. This younger sister has not. She is the essence of Mythal as a god. She is unlikely to listen to polite requests, and though she is but a fragment of the goddess, the battle will test you sorely.
If she's just going to attack us, why tell us about her at all? We have enough enemies already.
A fragment of a god's essence is a powerful thing. It may give you options against Algernon and Gillenane, or against the Dreadwolf himself, should he prove as cunning and treacherous as ever.
You would know this aspect of Mythal better than anyone. Could you try talking to her?
I dare say she would attack me on sight.
Spirits can't get along with fragments of each other.
Spirits, certainly. But the aspects of a self-righteous god who have walked different paths for ages? One bears the insult of her betrayal by the Evanuris, and then by Solus, as fresh wounds, insult upon injury. The other once fell in love with an Alamari chieftain and lived happily in a swamp for centuries. Each reminds the other that another path existed, that they could have been wrong, and nothing angers Mythal like being wrong.
If I were to try to talk with her, do you have any suggestions?
She will demand respect, but detest flattery. She appreciates righteous anger, but will not tolerate pity. She is, for want of better phrasing, prickly. But if you are determined to try, then I wish you luck.
What kind of spirit was Mythal before she became an elf? I know Solus is elven for pride.
Mythal enjoyed ruling and having power, but it came not from the overweening desire to crush resistance, as is the case with Algernon. The emotion that inspired her might best be described as benevolence, a guiding hand inclined to kindness. But like any spirit, when angered or twisted against her purpose, a more violent aspect arose. Where the Dreadwolf's wisdom gave way to pride when the world did not meet his standards, Mythal's benevolence gave way to retribution. After all, when kindness fails, the guilty must be punished.
Thank you for the information, Morrigan.
There is one more thing, if I may. Something whispered not by myself, but Mythal. The elves have learned many of the glories and horrors of ancient Elvenon. Yet your people live in this world now as the old elves never could. Know it as they could not. There is your strength. 'Tis why you shall surpass what came before one day.
Did Mythal see this? Is it a prediction?
A hope from a mother to her distant children, no less beloved than any before them.
We've much to examine.
Prepare well. Farewell.
Eyes up.
Nice one, Tosh. That's one, no sweating.
That's the last of them.
all safe?